Welcome to Guide to Survive. The world is a big, beautiful place, full of incredible and breathtaking sights and experiences. It's also doing everything it can to kill you, and so that's where this program fits in. Before you venture into the great outdoors, you need to learn about all of the terrifying and mystical creatures that lurk in the woods, knock on your window, and hide in your toilet. With this guide, you'll learn how to identify a would-be assailant, analyze its strengths and weaknesses, and deal with it effectively. By the end of your training, you'll be ready to take on any creep or cryptid that crosses your path. So here's to you, and the great adventure that lies ahead. Let's begin.
Target analysis. Name: Mahaha, or Mahaha the Tickler. Class: Parasapien, demon or malicious spirit. Habitat: tundra, forest, and mountains. Most northern Inuit lands, such as northern Canada, Alaska, and possibly Greenland. Lifespan: not applicable. Strengths: superior strength, unaffected by extreme cold temperatures, can cause uncontrollable laughter, and possibly drain life force at mere touch. Weaknesses: easily deceived and possibly fire. Overall threat level: 7. Behavior: the Arctic regions of Alaska and northern Canada, like all Arctic regions, make for some of the harshest environments in which to survive. Freezing temperatures, vast unforgiving wilderness, and a myriad of predatory wildlife, perfectly suited to life in such treacherous conditions. However, it is not always the weather, the wilds, or even the living you have to worry about. Death can be commonplace for the careless here, but for the truly unfortunate, death seeks you out. In Inuit culture, there is a dangerous spirit that roams the frozen plains, forests, and mountains. Long has it plagued those foolish enough to wander alone through the snow. You'll hear it before you see it. A terrible laugh will carry on the wind, getting closer and closer, until finally you see it. The sound of this laughter is its namesake. It is called the Mahaha. Human in form, like a frozen corpse standing in the snow, it has frost-bitten blue skin. A Mahaha's hair will be long and frigid, perhaps so much so that it will break off when touched. Their eyes are said to range from white, pale blue, or even grey in colour. The face of the Mahaha will be frozen with a stretched smile, from which its sickening laugh will come cracking out. But worse yet, at the end of its long, sinewy arms and protruding out of its frostbitten fingertips will be sharp, elongated fingernails. Whatever clothing is left on their bodies will be shredded and torn, exposing the Mahaha's emaciated body. It is worth noting that these spirits are solitary creatures, never wandering in groups or even pairs. For what reason, we do not know, and the Mahahas aren't telling. These spirits are clearly unaffected by the extreme cold temperatures of the environment in which they dwell. Their flesh will be discolored and their hair brittle, but they move on through the freezing winds and snow, unconcerned for covering themselves or finding shelter in which to keep warm. They are neither slowed down or reduced in strength. In fact, it's rather the opposite. as a Mahaha is said to easily be able to overpower those they get their hands on. One should always do their best to avoid getting within reach of these beings, as this is when their long, vicious fingernails are put to use. Once overcome by the Mahaha, it will proceed to tickle its victims, on and on, until the unfortunate soul eventually dies. How death is caused exactly is as yet unconfirmed, but may well come down to two theories. The first being that the victim is tickled until the cold becomes too much for their mortal body and eventually succumbs to hypothermia. Alternatively, that the Mahaha is able to drain the life force from its prey simply by touch, perhaps indicating that the Mahaha is in some way vampiric. Regardless, what is known for certain is that a victim of a Mahaha is easily recognized by the wide, unsettling smile frozen onto their cold, dead face. All is not lost, however, as there is one known weakness that the Mahaha is burdened by, an important lesson passed down by Inuit elders so as to protect those closest to them. For you see, dear listener, a Mahaha is really, really gullible. I'm not even kidding. Numerous tales outline a myriad of ways in which a Mahaha's end was met simply by being fooled. One tale in particular notes how one of the cruel spirits was tricked by some villagers into taking a drink from a nearby river, tickling being thirsty work and all. But when the Mahaha knelt to draw water from the river, it was pushed in and the strong current carried it away. It's unknown as to whether a Mahaha will fall for the same trick twice, so you may have to get creative. It is also worth remembering that fire may well be an effective means of driving away a Mahaha. This is currently a theory and will require testing in order to validate, but as a rule of thumb, fire is pretty OP. Some theories surrounding the origins of these malicious entities is that a Mahaha may well have been human once. Similar to how a human being may become possessed by a Wendigo spirit, being driven to consuming human flesh, a Mahaha spirit may possess an isolated traveller out wandering the cold. This possession would allow the transformation that enables the entity to traverse the cold unaffected, save for the frostbite already inflicted on the once human body. The long nails tearing through the clothing, allowing for a respite from any unwanted heat, as well as freeing up its movement for more efficient hunting. But then, as previously stated, only the Mahaha knows for sure. As if being lost out in the cold wind and snow isn't bad enough, being hunted by a malevolent creature is another nightmare entirely. So much mystery still surrounds the Mahaha, despite its long reign of terror within Inuit culture. What we can say for certain is that these beings will kill without remorse. In fact, quite the opposite, and turn your laughter, at once most wonderful of sounds, into something truly tragic. So, should you ever find yourself journeying these wondrous, yet often unforgiving parts of the world, be sure to have both your gear and your wits about you. The roar of a bear, or scream of a rising blizzard, may sound less unnerving to you than the terrible cackling laugh carried towards you on the wind. stratagem. So, here's the scenario. Once again you've been sent to the coldest regions of the world, testing Jar 19's long-standing theory that Santa Claus will intermittently move his base of operations in order to avoid discovery. This'll be the year, you holly jolly bastard. While single-handedly navigating the wilds of one boreal nation or another, you stand still in the deep snow, hearing something on the air. It's laughter. Suddenly you notice a figure in the distance moving swiftly towards you. As it gets closer, you can see its blue, emaciated form, arms outstretched towards you, and its long nails wiggling in anticipation of tickling you. Your plan of attack. Firstly, cool runnings. Perhaps it's far enough away that you feel confident to escape on foot. Let's be honest, you've had worse ideas, but we won't list them here. Do your utmost to efficiently move through the snow and away from the Mahaha. It might not stop chasing you if it has you in its sights, so try to lose it. Secondly, snowblind. You're not fast enough to get away, and we've accepted that about you. So instead, we're going to use our surroundings to avoid tickle death. Bury yourself in the snow, remembering which way is up via spit test if necessary, and wait for the Mahaha to make its way past. The fading laughter will act as a useful, albeit creepy, indicator. Thirdly, cold opening. Not fast or all that fond of burying oneself alive. Not to worry, I've worked with less. This will require cunning on your part, as you're going to have to wait until the Mahaha gets close enough that you can deceive it right to its face. Options can include offering directions of other people to tickle and promising to wait on the spot until it comes back to verify, and then not doing that, pretending to be a Mahaha yourself, or just playing dead. There's no guarantee these will work, but if they don't, you'll be able to laugh about it soon enough. Fourthly, freezer burn. When all seems lost, and the cryptids we attempt to study have the upper hand, we can always count on fire. I reiterate though, this is still just a theory, so any combustion will be both a field test and a last resort, so make it count and try to leave some salvageable notes. Fifthly, chilling work. In any of these scenarios, if you manage to successfully sever one of the Mahaha's fingers, nail intact, do be a friend and bring it back to the lab. I could use something to point at people disapprovingly. Pop quiz. Question number 1. Will the Mahaha disguise itself in full traditional Inuit clothing in order to trick its victims? Answer: no. A Mahaha will always be wearing little to no clothing at all. Question number 2. Is it true that the Mahaha is so named for the laughing sound it makes? Answer: yes. The sound of laughter that the Mahaha makes is indeed where its name comes from. Question number 3. Are the long fingernails of the Mahaha used for tickling their victims? Answer: yes. The Mahaha will use its fingernails to tickle its victims. Question number 4. Does the Mahaha always travel alone? Answer: Yes. The Mahaha is a solitary being and will never travel within a group or even pairs. Question number 5. Can the Mahaha be found anywhere in the world during winter? Answer: no. The Mahaha will only inhabit the northernmost Inuit lands, such as northern Canada. If you scored 0 to 1, then this is no laughing matter. If you scored 2 to 3, then you might be alive, but you've got a cold look about you now. And if you scored 4 to 5, cool work. That really brings a smile to my face. Conclusion. Excellent work. I'd say you're ready to get out there and face whatever challenges plot against you. And if you're not, then don't worry. You can re-watch these survival guides as much as you like. And they're non-refundable. I'm very proud of the progress you've made, and I know you're going to take the future in your stride. I've got a good feeling about you, White Walkers. Until the later seasons, then that feeling died. Good luck, and don't die!